We'll get to know our county elected officials. He is the treasurer for our county of, I don't know, have 50,000 people, Mac?
A little over 50,000.
50,000 people he's the treasurer for. And I invited him to come on our little podcast, let him introduce yourself, ask a few questions, talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes. Everybody knows he's a fan of the Hawkeyes in secret. No. But go ahead and introduce yourself, Mac, and tell us a little bit where you came from, grew up and stuff.
Well, my name is Mack Wilkenson. I took office on January 2023 of this year. I used to work for the state of Missouri. I have 5 years service with them. Grew up here in Maysville, Missouri, Classic County, all that good stuff. Went to college out on Post is where I received all my education. I received my Master's of Business Administration from Webster University on Post. And then I also received my bachelor's from Columbia College out on Post as well. And that's accounting and management.
Oh, wow. That's a nice pedigree. Go on.
Oh, yeah. I'm the current treasurer for the Republican Club and for the Public Water District number 3 of Crocker, Missouri, so I just treasure everywhere.
Well, so I spent about 10 years, 10, 15 years of my federal career in budget and finance, not necessarily finance, but I understand with the federal money, it comes in different shades, different colors. Is that kind of the same way it happens with the state funds and the money you mess with?
It is. Everything that I receive, it's allocated for specific items, specific line items to schools, to fire departments, senior centers, things like that, where it has to be spent in specific order. Especially with the money that we have in our funds, it has to be spent within that fund and maybe within the same bank account, but if that fund has $0, we can't write anything out of that fund.
Gotcha. It's kind of like the federal. We have programs, and the money's allocated specifically by Congress. Hey, we got Sean Burns. Thank you, Sean Burns. We got a like. Hey, we got a like. Let me call Joe Biden. Anyway, that's awesome. How many people you got working for you on your team? I know you can't do this alone. This is definitely probably a good-sized office, and I've never been to your office. I need to stop by sometime. But how many people you got working for you?
The treasurer's office is all alone. It's just me. So, like this coming Friday, I have to go get a permanent crown put on. So the office will close for a couple hours. That I have to go do that. But yeah, so it's a full-time job for sure.
Are you really? Are you not kidding me? By yourself?
No. When I go, if I'm on vacation or if I'm at conference where there's a payroll, the county clerk's allowed to take the payroll file over. But I'm the only one that can release.
Holy smokes! Are you? On the military side, at least on Fort Leonard Wood, and I hope some of my counterparts or friends will join us or joining us. You know, we're allocated positions. We have, depending on your mission requirement, Fort Leonard Wood's authorized 5 to 10 budget analysts to work their programs, and then funding comes from big Army, the big higher headquarters to fund those positions. Are you allocated additional positions and you just can't get people, or you got positions and you don't have money?
No, the state of Missouri, the statute says that the treasurer is a full-time treasurer, but it doesn't say that there's any deputy treasurers required. That comes at commission level if they feel it's necessary to have a deputy under me.
Good googly moogly. I did not know that. I could have missed your office walking down the courthouse pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, I'm not the corner at the very end there. So
that's awesome. So what's one of the toughest things you have to deal with being this one person show up there, other than trying to stay connected? I assume you have to live on your laptop.
I have a Ring doorbell, so if you come to my door, you can press that, and it goes to my cell phone if I'm not there. And then my desk phone's forwarded to my cell phone, so I'm always available to answer. At least I'll get your message.
24/7. I'm befuddled that you only have you in that office. You're the treasurer's office, and you think, there's him with his staff of accountants going over the beans and counting every one of them. And it's a one-man show. Holy smokes, that's amazing. I don't know, I go down to Rochelle's office, and she's got like 20 people stuff. Hey, there's Richard Osnick. Thanks, Rich. Buddy of mine from Alaska. He's tuning in. And we had, in our budget office on Post, we had 18 people, and that was just one part of the Post. And golly, and what kind of, in the Army, when I was at the Corps of Engineer Laboratory and with the budget, we had what's called a total obligation authority, basically how much money we were authorized to obligate in a fiscal year. Do you have that kind of amount for the county too? I mean, at the end of your fiscal year, whatever that is, when that ends, do you have an amount that we spend every year?
Well, the commission would be the one that would actually rule on that and determine the budget. I
Right.
assist with the budget, and then we determine how much sales tax, we estimate how much sales tax is going to be, how much revenue is going to be collected off property taxes and things like that. So everything we do, it's not set in stone what amount of money we're going to get. We're basing
Sure.
our estimates off the past years and things like that. But I have a say so in that, but the county commission is the one who actually, the three, they vote for it.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. I was more asking how much do you obligate or spend every year on, like, and maybe go back, when's your fiscal year end?
It ends in December.
Oh, does it? Okay, so it's calendar year. So how much money do you think we'll spend this year?
Oh, this year, like just on everything, on payroll?
Yeah,
and road and
at the end of the year, you got to go in front of the commissioners and say, here's what we spent for the county this year.
Yeah, I would have to pull the budget reports to know that. To just run it off the top of my head, I would say road and bridge alone, at least $250,000 just for just that fund, and that's one of the 23 funds,
Oh, wow.
that I deal with.
And they spend that every year.
Exactly, and they're constantly needing more rock and things like that. So that's barely getting them by there. The sheriff's department, that'd be a huge expense too. They all do their own separate budgets, and I allocate their money out to them.
Gotcha.
They have to run reports to know
Wow.
Now it's millions and millions, because we'll do a turnover. I'll get a turnover from the collector, and that'll be over millions of dollars that will disperse out to the schools and the fire department.
Sure. Now, if they don't spend it, or you like the or the Army or the federal government, do you pull it back if they don't spend it when they're supposed to?
We have never pulled anybody back, and most everybody makes sure and spends their money.
I know, because at least with the budget folks on post, at the end of the fiscal year in September, you're trying to spend every nickel you got from the higher headquarters, and one of the worst things you could do is give it back. And
Exactly.
so it says you didn't manage your program well. So I figure it's kind of the same way. If you don't give it back with the county, it's the same benefit. You don't look so
It's pretty much right there on the dot.
Oh, that's awesome. So you got your master's degree. You ever pursued a CPA or anything like that? Would that be beneficial?
I'm able to sit for the CPA exam, but that's not anything that Pulaski County would probably need me
Sure.
to do. If you were into a higher county that had an auditor elected position, that would be.
I gotcha. Sometimes I get confused between the two, and I was just reading a report about the forthcoming shortage of financial professionals across the United States coming up in the next 5-10 years, and what a great career that would be for anybody who wants to rise great to high office. So that's awesome. So who you rooting for? Are you a Mizzou fan?
I would have to be Mizzou fan, yep.
Okay, well, they're doing good too. Long story short, I was frustrated with Iowa Hawkeyes one year, and I told myself I got to find something new. We've been down here, and it just so happened Iowa and Mizzou played in the bowl game, and I decided whoever won the bowl game, I'd change the colors. Wouldn't have to change much, but it had to change the colors, and Iowa did win, so that's kind of good. So.
Oh, yeah.
So you got anything you'd like to let everybody know? I know, kind of quick, and that's all I want, just to get some people to recognize who you are if they see you in the street. Hey, that's our treasurer,
The biggest thing is that I'd like to let people know that we do have an opioid committee, that I'm part of the opioid committee, and we're getting funds for that. And so the public's always welcome to come to those meetings. We post them publicly. And if you're okay with me giving a little advertisement about one of the programs that we do.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we call that PACE. It's Pulaski County Access to Care for Everyone. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 8 to 4 in the courthouse. And it's counseling service for individuals with addiction problems or anything like that. And it can even be family members. It doesn't have to be the person wanting to get help. You could be a family member that you talk to. So I just think that's a really good program, and try to push that to get everybody to know about it and utilize it.
Absolutely. Make sure you send me the information on my email, and I'll post it to the Facebook page and start sharing it so everybody can see it. And when I finally edit this video, I'll tag it in there as well. So that's awesome. That's good stuff. So when you're back at the office and you see Loretta or Dave and whoever else hasn't come on the program yet, they promised me they would. Oh, here we go. I got a question from Mr. Resch from Crocker, Missouri. is the ambulance service funds separate from the fire department?
They are. So Pulaski, it would be, yes, the ambulance funds be separate from the fire department funds. They're different levies and things like that, and so it gets allocated out to each entity. Just
Awesome.
like each fire department would, they're not all lumped together. Crocker would get theirs, and Nixon would get theirs, and things like that.
Okay. And they probably manage their funding as they deem fit. They have their own panels and such and projects. Okay.
They do. I get the audit reports from the auditors just to verify that the money that I sent them matches the money they received. And
Oh, gotcha. And when you allocate, well, on post, that's what I was going to say. With the military, we have a system called GFIBS, General Funds Execution System. What Enterprise Business Solution, GFIBS, how we manage all the money, every nickel, and the military goes through that system. Does the state have a similar kind of system where you push your money and you put it in a different code for the ambulance district to pay, or is it actually checks and credit cards?
so when you pay the collector's office, everything is levied through your personal property tax and your real estate taxes, and that's how it determines what portion of your tax goes to what entity, taxing entity, and things like that.
Well, I was more thinking about you yourself. Is there a specific financial system you use to manage the money, like the Army or the federal government? Or is
We use Tyler Technology. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I use that, and then the county clerk uses that, so we share information because we work directly with each other, because accounts payable is over there.
Yeah.
So it goes to them before it gets to me, and then payroll's over there for the checks and balance system.
I gotcha.
Yep. And then the assessor and the collector could potentially go on Tyler, but I believe their programs work best for them at this moment. Tyler's a little more expensive.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely. Now, and I'm sure some people want me to ask. I'm surprised we didn't have anybody ask it, but what sets the tax rate for public schools that I'm paying $1,200 a month for, or a year in my personal property tax? For schools I don't use and such like that. It's not your fault. It's got to be frustrating to some people.
People who's taking care of you when you're older to be educated. That's what I always say.
That's not a bad thing to think of. Those kids going through the school.
It is, and so schools are based on levies, so the levies are set, and that would be more down the line of Terry Mitchell, the collector, would be able to answer those a little better. But I do believe that is something that goes through the schools, that they can get those set and see what their spending was, because they can lower and up and lower their levies as needed. And
I gotcha.
Assessed valuation, so that gets into the assessor's office and things like that too.
It gets kind of frustrating when I see that football stadium on the par with smaller class NFL teams. So I guess I'd take that up with the school board.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
that's great. From the crowd and the audience, do we have anybody else out there got any questions for our beloved treasurer? One man show. I just can't believe it. I never would have guessed.
Just remember, we always have weekly commission meetings on Mondays and Thursdays, and you're
Okay.
always welcome to come to those. We're open to the public, and then we always discuss our county business there, so you'll know what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Assuming that's about it, I appreciate you, Mack, for coming on board and answering the questions and having a great visit. And make sure you spread the word down the courthouse. I need to get, if you see Jimmy, I want to get him on the line. I know he's a busy man, but before this election kicks off, and I like to talk to him about some stuff like this, what we're talking about, and how many people he works, and his budget, et cetera, et cetera. So if you see him, tell him it's a pain-free process.
I will.
Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm going to transition to our ending screen. And appreciate everybody stopping by, and have a great day. Mack, we'll see you in the hallways at the courthouse.
Yep, you have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you.